Hey, welcome to Let's Talk Nation. I'm your man, Rod Love, and sitting next to me is none other than the General, Colonel Greg Jackson.
Cheerio and hello, mate.
Hey, so
wait, I just mixed my Australian accent with my English accent.
Hey, I knew it was Australia.
Cheerio.
What, man, go on here with that, man, brother. You've been going to Paris too much in Australia.
I've been going to London.
London, okay.
And visiting Paris. I didn't go to. I just messed up my English accent by doing my Crocodile Dundee impression.
Brother, so, you've been traveling, man. When you gonna tell us about some of these worldly travels you've been taking, man?
You know, man, I'm gonna have to sit down. And I'm gonna have to take some time because we had a great trip last week. And you and Doc Black been holding it down. I've been hearing about all the work that y'all been doing, and so we were in London and Paris last for about 6-7 days.
Okay.
And no jet lag because I only sleep about 4 hours a night, anyways. But we're back and
I had a good time.
Yeah, man, I had a great time. And then the more interesting thing, Brother Love, and we'll jump into this, is I went from off of a plane from London straight into a fireside chat for District 5 Orlando, but we'll talk a little bit about that later on.
Well, man, I'm looking forward to hearing more about that, Greg, because that's really been burning up the airways.
Absolutely.
And I heard you did an excellent job moderating and keeping things in order.
Well, listen, man, I had to tell them, from up front, from Let's Talk Nation, we only know how to do things one way, and that's in good and proper order. So,
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Listen, did it so good because you know how we normally when we do things, we tell them we're gonna keep the train on the track, we're gonna keep everything on time. When they told me it was time to end, I ended it so quick. They was like, God, dog. It was like, we didn't even have a chance to close. Look, y'all put me on the time frame. Hey, when I hit that time, we out of here. I don't care what you say.
At least they know what they expect. But Brother Jackson, so I know you've been, traveling, and Doc and I, we've been navigating, man, trying to just look at what's happening in the world. And man, Greg, there's a lot going on, man.
Absolutely, Brother Love. But before we get to that, man, I hadn't said this in a long time, so I might stumble and fumble over my words. So it's time to let people know that they are now tuned in to two of the most influential voices in Central Florida on a Monday night podcast. Brother Love, Greg Jackson, the dynamic duo, guaranteed to raise your IQs 15 to 20 points. So Brother Love, on some nights, we go 25 to 30. If you want to be a part of the night show, all you got to do is hit 407-921-6195, or you can use your little Twitter fingers. You can hit your keyboards, and you can contact Brother Love, Greg Jackson, and Doc Polite. So, Brother Love, right now, we got to let the people know that we're about to get it on.
All right, Brother Jackson. Well, jumping back in the saddle, man, and not even losing any momentum.
Yeah, it's because I'm drinking this espresso stuff.
I saw that, man. Come on, Greg. Where did you get that from?
So my assistant told me about it today because they know I like strong coffee, and I drink Bustelo. So if anybody knows anything about Bustelo, apparently this is the stronger version of Bustelo. So if y'all see me running and jumping up and down tomorrow, up and down, I ain't gonna say down OBT because that's not a good sign.
No, that's never a good sign.
In a hyped up mood, it's the coffee.
It's the coffee. Blame it on the coffee.
Blame it on the coffee.
You know what, Greg? Can I cut a little bit to something, man, that just it has had America upside down, to say the least.
Cut away, Brother.
And I'm talking about none other than and Greg, I don't think it's any other way to say it, man. The assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. I mean, we hadn't been on the air for about 2 weeks, and so this story is actually about 2 weeks, beyond us having a chance to really talk about it. But for those who haven't heard, but most of us already know, unfortunately, anytime someone is killed, murdered, assassinated, it is not something to be celebrated. And unfortunately, this young man, 31 years old, Charlie Kirk, was doing a speaking event on a college campus, and someone shot and killed him on that college campus. One of the things that, and I'll say for me, Brother Love, and I don't want to speak for you or Dr. Light, one of the things that I'll say is that I never agree with anyone thinking that the best way to resolve a dispute or a disagreement with someone's ideas, thoughts, or policies is by shooting and killing that person. And so first and foremost, I just want to say that. But this has also found some challenges, Brother Love, for a lot of people, because for those who were not necessarily fans of Charlie Kirk, and I didn't really listen to him until after he had passed away, and I heard some of the things he had to say, and it is somewhat interesting. They wanted to express their First Amendment rights as to how they felt about it. And I got a call because there are a number of people, to include some teachers here in the Central Florida area, who have lost their jobs because of the comments that they made about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And so the question is, why is it that these individuals were fired, and why is it that their First Amendment rights have been violated or trampled on? And so, Brother Love, that is a part of the conversation that I think that Let's Talk Nation is a smart enough audience that we can have that conversation.
And Greg, it's not happening just here in Florida. I mean, that's something that's taking place all over the country.
Absolutely, absolutely. But this is what I had to tell some folks. For a lot of the people who lost their jobs, it wasn't necessarily because they violated, or it wasn't necessarily because they did not have the right to express their First Amendment views in terms of speech. It was probably because there were some terms in an employment agreement that they had. Mm-hmm. And even here in the state of Florida, although this is a work at will state, some people still enter into employment contracts.
You're right.
And within those employment contracts, the employer can outline codes of conduct, things you can say, things that you can do. And if you violate those things, you can lose your employment. And so it appears that those individuals were able to express their First Amendment rights. However, because they may have violated some provision of their contract, their employment contract, that's why those individuals have been terminated. And I'm sure that Orange County has some type of language as to, if a teacher or an administrator says or does something, that action can be taken.
Well, it definitely was taken all around the country, Greg. And I mean, again, I'm going to go back to something you said earlier. Man, this is, for myself, never an occasion, man, to sit back to, for somebody who's expressing themselves,
right,
to look at what took place, man. I mean, 31 years old, father of two.
Yeah, recently married.
You're recently married?
Yeah. And like I said,
I wasn't going to jump on.
What's going on, Doc?
What's that?
I had to chime in a little bit. And I'm glad you said that about the First Amendment. One of the things that people don't understand when in the First Amendment, and I'm kind of veering into Brother Jackson's spear, the First Amendment is about the ability of freedom of speech not being taken away from you by the government. Everything else, it don't matter. See, because people want freedom of speech to be free from consequences. Mm. And that's not how that works.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, that's and you're right. That's a great point.
And so what we saw was a lot of people expressing that, I got this right. You got the right to say that to the government. But when it comes in representing your employer or in the workplace, they have the right to control the environment in which they operate. That's their given right. You can't just come in there and because you think you can say something, just mouth off. You don't do that. But it points to the fact that we no longer in this country operate with civility nor wisdom in many ways. And y'all know I avoided the whole controversy about Charlie Kirk because I don't see the benefit, negative or positive, in attacking what happened. It happened. It's not right. Murder is never right, regardless of what this man's views was. See, I can respect him. You know why? Because I knew who he was. I can respect him. My life is not so damaged that I need everybody to validate me or like me or agree with me or see me in the way that I think that they ought to. And we've got a lot of work to do in this country.
I mean, absolutely, yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right, and you hit the nail on the head when you said that.
I knew who he was. I knew who he was, but I don't have a right to take his voice.
Yeah.
One of the hardest things I ever did in my life was there's a town in Georgia, and I'm gonna say the name of this town because this did happen. When I was stationed at Fort Stewart, there's a town called Millen, Georgia. And an incident happened up there, and they had the KKK march through Millen. And they had asked the post to send some soldiers up there to help crowd control. So I got on that detail, on the back of 5 tons of deuce and a half. You know, Greg,
Yeah.
and we stood out there, and we didn't have weapons or anything. We had on our web belt, canteen, and and things like that. Just our presence. They just wanted the presence there. So we out there standing on the corners and stuff, and these guys walked through. It's probably about 200 of them. Guess what? I was out there and would have defended them because that was part of the role in which I played that day, because it was their right. It was their right to say what they want to, because guess what? When my right comes up, I want the same courtesy. So we've got to give and take.
And Doc, you're right. We have to give and take, man. But I think something that's been expressed all over the country now, and I hope that we continue to sing that tune, is that we got to lower the temperature, man, because words, man, words have power. And when you have individuals, and I don't know if this guy who climbed up on that roof, I don't know what's going on with him, but man, it's never right, man, to see what took place.
Yeah. And I mean, to one of Doc's points, with regards to, being able to control what speech is said by its employees. I mean, think about what the NFL did to Kaepernick.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever someone does something that may potentially damage the brand or damage a product, I mean, ABC did the same thing with Jimmy Kimmel. And whether or not you agree with him or not, I disagree with the fact that they pulled him off of the air if it was because of what he said, because I think that he had a right to say it.
You're right.
And they did back away from that, and he's back on the air right now. And I mean, his ratings weren't that great before. They've been good right now, but they'll go back down to where they were. But I think that that ABC and Disney reversed itself in the right course, because he has a right to say what he said, whether I disagree with it or not.
This takes me back to when you and I first got on the air over at the radio station. And if you recall, man, a lot of things that we talked about then were things that were taking place in a community that we didn't agree with.
Yeah.
And we were able to do that because we had the right to be able to speak up.
That's right. So I mean, this is one of those stories that it seems that the country that the temperature is coming down just a bit, Brother Love, Dr. Light. But it was something that we didn't get a chance to really flesh out, and especially in light of folks losing their jobs and people saying, "Hey, how can this happen?" They're impeding on my rights and different things like that. But also, just to make a point that just because you disagree with somebody, just because you don't agree with what someone says, your retort should not be the report of a rifle.
You're right.
Or a firearm.
Yeah.
I don't know if were you guys living when. Well, yeah, y'all had to be living when Dr. King died.
No.
Y'all did my age.
No, I wasn't living.
Oh, you weren't? Okay.
No, you was 66, right?
65 or 66, Doc? What?
60, JFK was 64, right? JFK was 64, and then
60. JFK was 63.
Okay, then Martin Luther King would have died in 64.
King was in. I was a little boy. I think I was like 6 or 7, and all the reason I remember was because of my grandmother screaming and crying. I wasn't cognizant of the whole entire situation, but I knew who he was, and I knew this was something that alarmed her and the rest of my family. And they talked about it. I mean, I can vividly remember that because it was so traumatic. And to understand that and how people took it, I can understand. I'm not saying they're on the same thing, but I can understand how his followers may have taken that situation. Okay, regardless of whether we agree with him or not, they saw him in a certain light, and he was speaking to a cause that they believed in. Okay, so just like people attacked Dr. King when he got killed, right? They disparaged him and they did the same thing. You had both sides of the aisle, so to speak, that viewed this very differently. But I think that kicking the people while they down is not necessary. Sometimes you have to be the I can't say what I want to say, the bigger, but you know,
Yeah,
you have to
yeah.
be the bigger person. You know, and it doesn't cost you anything. Just say, you know, I'm not gonna, just like us, we say we're not gonna participate in that mass. We can't add anything of value or edifying to that process.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people should have just shut up and let those who mourn him mourn and say what they want to say and just ignore it. I didn't lose no sleep.
Yeah.
I lost nothing
And,
literally.
and you know, one of the things I realized too, though, Doc, a lot of
Yeah.
the people that were celebrating and cheering this were cheering it, not even really hearing what Charlie Kirk had ever said. They were basing on what other people had said that he had said.
Right.
Because
Right.
when I heard about it and I heard the people saying the things and they was like, oh, he said this, he said that. And then I went back and I listened to it for myself. I was like, he didn't really say that. You know, you may not agree with his views, but the way that you say that he said things is not, he didn't say it with the acrimony or with the hatred or the vitriol that I thought that I would hear when I finally listened to the guy.
Well, you know, one of the things that people don't know is Charlie Kirk organization actually financed Blexit.
Greg, you
Blexit
believe in
was
Blexit?
almost, and Blexit is a
I don't know. I was trying to
it's
think. I can
it's
guess what it is.
black.
Yeah.
It was called it's Black Exit, and what it was it was aimed at helping African Americans leave the Democratic Party.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Makes
this
sense.
was a conservative organization started by a police officer, I forgot his name, and Candace Owens. And Charlie Kirk them basically acquired Blexit to keep it financially solvent and begin to fund it because they were saying that, hey, there is value of African Americans learning how to do for themselves. We want to focus on self-sufficiency. And that was their message. Stop believing all this stuff where you're less than your victim. So, you know, maybe, you know, the man was 31. He had a lot of living still to do. Okay.
Yeah.
I think about, and I was telling my homeboy, I say, when I was 27, I didn't know how stupid I was. And at that age, y'all listen, at 65, I could tell y'all, you don't know nothing. In that time frame, you don't know nothing. You know just enough to get yourself in some trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
And oftentimes you don't really find where you are and the person you're really going to be till you get into your 40s. You know, then you got that core. You've developed your core personality and core values that will steady you the rest of your life.
Well, Doc, Greg, and Doc, don't go anywhere. And I'm going to shift gears a little bit. I want to take us to New York.
The big city.
The big city, New York. I want to take us to New York
Big Apple.
and talk some New York politics here.
Or the lack thereof.
Or the lack thereof. You're right. Hey,
Yeah.
because, and Greg, I want to lay this out and I want you to start navigating this portion. But what everybody was anticipating originally, was there was going to be a battle between Eric Adams, who is presently the mayor, and Cuomo. Did I say that right? Cuomo?
Cuomo.
Yeah.
Who was the former mayor who left in disgrace. And so now there's been a big surprise. There's been another
he was the former governor.
That's right. You're right. Thanks for correcting me. And so now we have a situation, and there's late breaking news as of today. I think it is.
Yeah.
And so, Greg, take us from there, man.
So, for many months, several months, Eric Adams has been embroiled in some type of controversy or another. And just when it seemed as if he was going to find his way through, he had recently come out with a statement saying that his campaign was, get ready to gear up. They were getting ready to get the money to fight this race, but they were having some problems because there was rumblings all around that he was going to be dropping out of the campaign. That no, he's not dropping out of the campaign. And he said that that this was Mandani that was putting this message out there that he was going to drop out of the campaign to affect his ability to raise money. But lo and behold, Eric Adams, as of late last night, has announced that he is suspending his campaign. And suspending the campaign, Brother Love, is campaign talk for saying he quit.
Why does everybody? I mean, it seems like going back 5-7 years now, Greg. Another word for
I could tell you. I can tell you why. Why everybody suspend?
Yeah.
For financial reasons.
That's
there are campaign laws that when you suspend a campaign, it it's processed differently from if you just quit it. So, they still got payroll and things that they have to meet, and they still need to operate.
But there was some
And
writing,
that's what was explained to me some years ago, because I had that same question.
and that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah.
But I think the writing was on the wall though, Greg, because as Mayor Adams was navigating through a lot of the things that were taking place, and of course, didn't he get indicted as well?
He was indicted, but then they dropped that when Donald Trump came in. Remember, they were saying that he was working with the Turkish government, I believe it is, and was getting money from them. And so under the Biden administration, he was indicted, and Trump came in, and that was removed. And so they thought that at that point that he was Trump's guy.
Yeah.
And so that didn't do him any favors. So
Well, some of the other writing on the wall that you could see though is when you look at an administration and your top lieutenants start resigning.
right.
That to me was the beginning of the end.
Yeah. And I mean,
He yesterday he had polled at 8%. He was
8%.
way down, guys. 8%. Yesterday when the story broke, that's where he was polling at.
so that's interesting because they have Mandani at 45%, and so that means that Cuomo is what they have Cuomo at.
Cuomo he's way off from Madami, and Curtis Sewa.
Yes, Lewa. Yeah, Curtis Lewa. Yeah.
Greg, what was your message about Lewa Curtis?
Listen, Curtis Lewa doesn't have a snowball's chance in a hot place for winning, man.
If he was the only snowball running.
Hey, so if we're doing the math here.
Yeah. But I mean, because Lewa probably has less than 5%.
I think he was at 11.
Really?
Yes.
Who?
Curtis Lewa. He was what is it? The Guardian Angels. He was with that.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
the
yeah,
Guardian.
yeah. Hey, so even if you take Eric Adams 8%.
So if you take 11 plus 8, that's 19. You take the 45 or so with Mandani. So that leaves us with about 37%.
Yeah, that's about right.
So I mean, listen, if Adams people swing to Cuomo,
but you're never gonna have 100%. I mean, you might as well say out of 8%, if he gets
they ain't gonna swing
if
over.
he get 8, I mean, if he get 4% of that, he'll be lucky.
Well, I think Adams kind of hurt himself by aligning with Republicans, with the Trump.
He didn't have a choice. He didn't have a choice. His city was losing funding. Remember, if he didn't do it, there were government federal funds, and he was going to be missing out.
But we talk about a Democratic stronghold in New York.
But wait a minute though, because
if you think they were losing money under Adams, if Mandani wins with his,
he's already said they're not going to get any money.
Yeah. So I mean, if you think New York is on the downswing now, in terms of public safety and public health and things like that.
But look at issues here. I mean, we reformed, if you would, I'm gonna use that word loosely, that municipalities here can't afford to lose the money. So you've seen the shifts with the airport and a whole bunch of other things.
Well, which is why every single county signed the governor's amended contract.
Did y'all know that if a governor or the government of a state decides to interrupt the collection of federal tax, that's a federal offense, and they will be arrested immediately?
Did you learn that? Did you learn that from Gavin Newsom trying to, I guess, go in that direction?
I looked at it because I was interested in the whole concept of red state, blue state, and understanding that red states are the poorest states. I was wondering what would happen if blue states just withheld their tax money. And
wait. What do you mean the blue states are the poor states?
No, red states.
So Florida is a poor state?
I think you got that flipped.
I think it's the only one that's got some money. But
you said Texas is a poor state?
Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers.
You're right. I think you got it flipped.
Yeah, because California has been operating at a deficit for years, as well as New York, as well as
Well, you know,
Michigan.
deficits can poverty by top 10 poorest states in the U.S.
Yeah, I think
Arkansas.
Arkansas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, and only 2 out of that is Puerto Rico. Well, you can't count Puerto Rico state, but New York is the only poor state in the top 10. That's Democrat.
So what was the first one?
New Mexico, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee.
Hey, you're going too
Alabama.
fast. I said the first one. You're trying to go all the way down the list. So first, so New Mexico is what? Democrat.
No,
Arizona is not.
those are not the
The governor of New Mexico is what?
that don't make it a Democrat or red state.
Doc, you
The
got
governor is that.
you got us and the audience doing the fact check now.
Like
Nine out of 10.
Hey, like
9 out of 10 states. Huh?
They want to get the debate
Yeah.
great.
9 out of 10 of the poorest states in America are red state. 95
Okay, hey.
of 100 poorest counties are in red state.
Yeah, so the governor of New Mexico is Democrat.
But that don't make it a blue state just because the governor is that.
So let's see. So I mean, typically it does.
But no,
So name me one blue state. Name me one red state that has a Democratic governor.
you say New Mexico?
Yeah, New Mexico has a Democratic governor. What was the other one you said? What's the second one?
Man, you got me jumping all over the place.
Doc, I think you got Gavin Newsom news over there.
I
Gavin
don't.
Newsom news
Got
over
no
there.
Gavin Newsom news.
Gavin Newsom news over there reporting on.
Hey, Doc, you making us do fact checks during the show, man. This is getting so good.
Hey, didn't y'all say how did IQ do?
Yeah, we raising it tonight. Hey, we got everybody going to.
Hey, what's the
going to-
state? What was that second state? I want to know the second state on that list.
I said Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma is clearly Democrat.
So, Doc, I guess back to what we were talking about, man. And I mean, Eric Adams he's out.
Oh wait,
Cuomo's
I'm
still
sorry.
in.
He's a Republican in Oklahoma. He's a Republican.
So I think that race is gonna come down to Cuomo and Greg, how do you pronounce his name?
In the last state,
Donnie.
in the last elections, okay. Yeah, New Mexico did turn blue. Colorado,
Yeah, Colorado is definitely blue.
Nevada, California, Oregon, and
Utah.
Washington.
Utah.
No, Utah is Republican.
Hey, but here's the question. And I don't have the answer, but
Yeah.
why would, and Doc, this is open to you too. Why would you have a lot of your blue states that are experiencing major deficits right now? What would be the cause of that?
What do you mean? What do you mean as far as deficit?
Well,
Like
A budget
Okay.
shortfall.
the thing about things like deficits, and y'all business people, you know you can run a deficit. You know that. You know you can show a loss in your business, and that don't mean that you.
But Doc, here's the difference, and I'm not,
You're not
agreeing.
soft.
You can chime in on this. The federal government is running deficits. We know they run deficits year in, year out.
Yeah.
States have to balance their budget. I mean, that's in the Florida Constitution. You have to balance your budget. So
Not all states have that. Not all states have balanced budget amendments or
Doc,
balanced budget.
Doc, you don't
in
think
their
when California, and in particular, California says that they have major deficits, you don't think? And last one I thought I saw great was they were close to $1 billion at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I saw the other day with Denver, Colorado, the mayor of Denver was cutting their budget to kind of.
Oh, you're right, Rod. Every state but Vermont.
But Vermont, yeah. Yeah, every state except for Vermont.
Has a constitution to balance the budget?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, listen,
you're right.
Hey, listen. Y'all, we more people with this balance.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, I don't know. Wait, hold on, wait. Hold on. Hey, man, this Huggy Bear saying he wanted hat back, man.
What'd he say?
Hey, now you set yourself up. He said that was Huggy Bear.
This Huggy Bear said he wanted his hat back.
Man, I'm
You set yourself up for that, dog.
Greg.
You set yourself up.
I had to rock my brim.
Hey, then you came back and say, who? Hey,
Why you clouding my brim, man?
hey, Doc, let's go because I want to hear something about. I want to hear about the recap on the District 5 fireside chat.
So listen, man. Last week,
The brawl for it all.
Listen, it was very interesting, and they're supposed to be doing another debate with Tiger Bay this week, if I recall correctly. But the Alpha Phi Alpha chapter, Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Delta Xi Lambda chapter actually hosted the fireside chat between the District 5 candidates for Orlando on last week. And so the candidates, you have now interim Commissioner Shane Rose, you have former Commissioner Regina Hill, and you also have community advocate Lawana Gelson. And Brother Love and I have had some experience with moderating a debate between Regina Hill and Sharon Rose when Sharon Rose ran against Regina Hill about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And so, Brother Love, you can take what that experience was like and tack on Lawana Gelson into the whole mix. It was very, very interesting.
Y'all don't know the history of them races, man.
But Doc, let me say this though. Greg and I did it 5 years ago, and we moderated Commissioner Rose and former Commissioner Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you, we laid out the rules ahead of time. Things worked as well as they could, but we kept the train on schedule.
Yeah.
Now, what I did hear about Greg moderating it for the Alphas, Greg, I'm gonna tell you, I heard the same thing. I heard that you did a yeoman's job of keeping the train on schedule.
Listen, it was a challenge.
But I heard you did an excellent job.
Challenge. And I mean, I talked to the candidates afterwards, and they understood the challenges that I was faced with. But listen, all jokes aside, I think that the district got a chance to hear, from each one of those candidates about how it is that they plan to lead the district. Some of the highlights, from the race is they talked a lot about the $3 billion that's coming into Orlando and how that money is going to be spread, or that the individuals in District 5 are going to be able to benefit from the money that's coming in. Some of the other things they talked about, obviously, was affordable housing, the fact that there's no rent control, and that they were saying that people are being priced out of being able to live in the district. And Doc, you probably understand this as well, being from this area, that Paramore and that District 5 area is looking more and more unlike it did, 5, 10, 15 years ago.
Listen, they knew that was going to come. Okay.
I don't think they knew it. Listen. I don't think they knew it. Honestly.
Listen, man, I ain't gonna even get into
No. But Greg, when you say you don't think they did, I mean, we were around when that whole process began, and I mean, a lot of things that we heard, and come on, our ears didn't lie to us, was that those folks. What we heard was those individuals were going to have the opportunity to move out and watch that development and to be able to move back in.
Right.
The difference is this, Doc, and I think it was probably a year ago, Greg, we were doing a show, and a young lady went to one of the commission meetings and said, hey, y'all told me I was going to be able to come back.
I can afford to come back.
And now I can afford to come back. But here's the difference, too. When somebody asked her, how much were you paying in rent when you were there? And she said something in the neighborhood about $400 some odd dollars. And then she said, now they went up to $1,200 or something. The fact of the matter is, and I mean, when we talk about rent control, the fact of the matter is, where are you going to find anywhere for $400?
You're not.
New Mexico,
Unless you're renting a room, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it was gonna.
New Mexico,
I ain't going to New Mexico. Stop that. Now the other thing we talked about, and the community, all of the candidates were well spoken on this particular topic, and more candidates I am starting to realize are becoming more well versed on this particular topic, and it was the use of CRA dollars in that district, and how it is that the taxpayers' dollars inside of the district are going to fund businesses that come from outside of the district, get the monies, and then they disappear. And they were wondering, well, why is it that we're seeing CRA funds going towards, building the stadium that just came up, or going towards, trying to get sports teams and all of the other things, and not going back to revitalize this community or going back to provide some type of funding for rent control. And I think that each one of the candidates addressed that issue. Some not as well as the audience would have liked, but I think that they addressed the issue of what they would try to do in order to ensure that CRA dollars, Community Redevelopment Agency or Act dollars, would be used by people who actually live and work in the district.
Greg, let me ask you this: how many years have we been talking about? And we created the white paper on CRA when the House Speaker, I can't remember his name at the time, when he was looking at eliminating CRAs because of the misuse of those dollars. And you and I, we were on the radio at the time.
Well, that was 2017, just to give an idea.
Yes,
that's about 8 years ago.
And we talked about
but no, that's when the white paper actually came out. We started the effort in 2016.
Okay.
So I mean, you're talking about almost a decade.
But great, think about Inspector General's report in Miami-Dade, something else in Delray Beach. I mean, all over the state there was situations where those dollars weren't used for the original intent.
I mean, and listen, if you look at how the city of Orlando has used CRA dollars, a lot of that has gone towards facet or towards putting trees and things around the stadium to beautify the stadium.
Because of lack of knowledge and information of the constituents.
And people not coming out. And now they're starting to question, well, why are those dollars being used in that way instead of this way? But now listen, man, you're too far down the road now.
Well, one thing I will say is this, and I'm going to give some props to this. As of a couple of weeks ago, and it just didn't start a couple of weeks ago, but as a couple of weeks ago, Greg, some of the things that you and I have been talking about for years, City of Apopka, Mayor Nelson and Commissioner Nadia Anderson opened up, and it was on, matter of fact, they were even advertising on TV, $900,000 for residents in the City of Apopka that live within the CRA to access that money for your own home improvement.
Yeah. No, and that's the right use. That's part of what that's what CRAs were developed for. The CRAs in 1969, the Florida legislators saw fit that they start a fund from within the CRA district to address slum and blight. And the best way to do that is to address the areas inside of the CRA. I mean, listen, and Doc, you may remember this. I was on the news talking about it when the CRA in Apopka, under the former mayor, paid $1 million for a parking lot. Now, listen, I go through the parking lot now and it looks great. But then I drive down the street and I still see slum and blight, and I'm wondering what could $1 million have been done to help the people with the businesses that I literally have seen disappear in that area. So listen, I like the parking lot, but I would have rather seen that money go towards businesses, infrastructure inside of the CRA by the people who it would truly affect.
But can I say some truthism?
Yeah, what you got?
Here's the thing, and I want people to hear this, because I'm not being disingenuous. People have got to understand that being a beggar is never going to work. Being a community that begs is never going to work. The reason that those communities don't get attention is because they have nothing to leverage. They don't own businesses, okay? A lot of them don't pay significantly any taxes. So they basically are, they're like gnats to politicians. When it's voting time, I'm going to come around and give you a fan in your air conditioner church, okay? and slip your pastor a couple of $100 to let me come in there or whatever. And I'm not saying that they do, but you know.
I mean, you got to get offered. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
offer is offer.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So hey,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So until these communities understand that politics is an access game. We don't like that it is, but the reality is that it is. You don't get something by just being a beggar.
But Doc,
Okay?
there's strength in numbers, and then you need to prepare yourself and understand what you're going in those chambers to talk about. You can't be all across the board when you get into those chambers.
But
when
but
you
but, I,
got
but, I, but I'm gonna say this also. But I'm gonna say this also. And to both of y'all's point. Number one, you have to have strength in numbers. You have to know what you're going to talk about when you get in there. And also, politics is an access game.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to tell you this, and I'm not going to name who it is because people are going to figure it out at some point in time. About 2 weeks ago, I hosted a fundraiser in my home for a political candidate. And the specific purpose of hosting that fundraiser is to bring people in from the community to say, listen, the lifeblood of any campaign is funds.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not giving money in order to influence anyone. We're giving money because we want people to understand that there's money in this community. And we raised some good money thanks to all of the people who came out and who donated for this particular candidate. And this candidate clearly understands that if you want our support, we're here to give it to you. But if not, we can take our money and we can give it to someone who's going to address our needs. So you're right. People have to stop just wanting to get in front of people without understanding that in order for them to get their message out, there has to be some form of support. Whether you're going to walk like Doc. When I ran, Doc knows, man, me and Doc would be out a couple of days a week walking miles upon miles.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how Doc and a lot of people contributed to my campaign was that sweat equity on the floor, on the ground, walking and all the other stuff. But if you can't do that, you got to write those checks.
You know, from a prioritization standpoint, and if politicians would really be straight with you and just respond, Greg, the bottom line is, man, and this goes not just in politics, but I think it goes across the board in a little bit of any and everything that we do.
Mm.
You want to support those people that support you. You're going to help those people that help you. And yeah, we have that generosity in our heart, if you would, but you're going to help those folk, man, that have your interests at heart as well.
Yeah, that support you. That's right.
That's what. Hey, but you know something? Before I let this go, October the 16th. Anybody know what that date is? And I'm gonna go ahead and give you this as well. October the 16th will be 30 years from the time that this originally took place, and nothing has taken place since then that unifies men. And that walk was
30 years ago.
That was 30 years ago. Come October the 16th.
Million Man March.
Interesting.
Y'all didn't think about that, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey,
30 years?
Hey, think about this. Think about the fact that it was unifying men on that day, and it was published all across the country. No crime took place at that forum.
Nice.
And when you talk about responsible fathers, they talked about issues that are pertinent to us. And Reverend King, Dr. Nelson out of Tallahassee, Reverend Bowie out of California, what we're looking at doing on the 16th is opening up a Zoom call across the country. and bless you. And we've identified those 4 core principles that march was all about. And this is not isolating anybody, but we want to open up a Zoom call and let men from around the country call in to say, what are they doing to contribute for the betterment of their community? And we're not, Greg, this is something you and I talked about, and we talk about it all the time, and Doc as well. You can't have a conversation with us about this march if you don't include what you're doing to better your position economically as well.
Nice. I like it.
So 30 years, man. Can you believe that?
I can't. No, I was just thinking about the movie Get on the Bus just the other day, as a matter of fact.
Get on the bus. Hang on.
Get on the Bus. That was a Spike Lee movie that was funded by black actors in Hollywood that followed a group of men who were going to the Million Man March.
Man.
Spike, you remember that?
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Get on the Bus.
So
Delroy Lindow played in it.
So man, once again, I think it's important for us to put it out there that there were four guiding principles. That was one, taking care of your family, men being responsible, looking at how do you benefit to move yourself forward economically. And I can't remember what the fourth one was, but I want to take my hat off to Reverend Bowie out of California, who has assembled 12 other representatives from other states to be engaged in this process. And this doesn't close off anybody else to participate in this process, because as we always talk about, man, the more the merrier if you want to contribute to what we're trying to do, and that's the betterment.
Yeah. No, that's great, great thought, great idea, great initiative, and great program. So yeah, absolutely, man. So Doc, we got to support that too, man.
Yeah.
October the 16th.
October the 16th. So, Doc, I don't know if you heard about the Epic Universe ride. Last week, a young man was on that ride and lost his life on the ride by the name of Kevin Zavala. And apparently, he passed away. He had some pre-existing conditions, and his family is now hiring an attorney in order to get some answers to the question. And so, what struck me as interesting, as I was researching this story, as I typically do when I'm finding things out, I found something out, and then I started noticing that about 12 hours later, the news media jumped on something that I did. And if you want to go to my TikTok page, you will see that Greg Jackson was talking about this about 12 hours before anybody else. There's something else that I'm talking about is that back in April of 2025, several months before the death of Mrs. Zavala, there was another lady who went to preview days at Universal. Preview days is where individuals get to go in and preview rides and things before it opens up to the general public. And she rode this one particular ride, the Stardust Racer roller coaster. And during that ride, apparently she sustained some injuries on the ride. After Mr. Zavala passed away and after his family had hired an attorney, a day later, on the 24th of September, Ms. Street, her last name is Street, attorney filed the lawsuit against Universal, alleging that she had sustained injuries on this same ride that Mr. Zavala had died on. 2 days later, Universal settled the case with Ms. Streets. And so it begs the question of, is there something that's going on with this ride, aside from the fact that Mr. Zavala has some pre-existing conditions? He rode the ride 6 times before, but was there something that was going on with this ride that caused Universal to settle a case where a woman was just injured in the 2-day period of time?
Almost quick as Diddy settled his.
Is the ride still operating? Is the ride still operating?
So right now, after Mr. Zavala passed away, died on the ride, it has been shut down for investigation. Now, the state has investigated it, Universal has investigated, and they said that the ride has operated the way that it should. Now, here's the other thing too. They're saying that there were numerous warnings. So like even walking up to the ride, there are posted warnings and there are audio recorded warnings about if you have any pre-existing conditions, any spinal conditions, any heart conditions, things like that, you shouldn't ride this ride. Mr. Zavala had a spinal injury. He was in a wheelchair. He had some heart issues, and yet he still rode this ride. So the question is, did he assume the risk, understanding that he had pre-existing conditions and still got on this ride? Or did something happen to where on the 6th time on this day that he rode this ride, that this ride caused his death?
Wait a minute. 6 times?
6 times.
He rode the thing 6 times?
6 times.
The same day?
Same day.
Well, I ain't no rocket scientist, but here's the thing though. In Florida, there has always been problems with the regulation and inspection of these rides. Remember when the eye situation came up? I think it was Channel 9. They did an investigation where they were showing that these rides really weren't being inspected for safety the way that they were supposed to be. So is that still going on?
Listen, not just the eye. Think about the slingshot that this 14-year-old kid died on. And I'm gonna say this, all right? For as much as they're supposed to inspect these theme park rides, and they're supposed to be the safest rides, anybody who gets on a ride at a fair is a new fool. because those rides that they put up in the span of about
yeah.
6 hours that you get on that are rickety and rackety and all this other stuff, if you get on that ride, you are a new fool. I'm gonna tell you, the last time I got on the ride, Doc, I'm gonna tell you this. Y'all gonna think I'm crazy. Last time I got on the ride at the fair, I got on the ride with my daughter, and it was a Ferris wheel. I was so scared on the Ferris wheel. And I get it, and I ride roller coasters. I was a roller coaster rider. I don't ride them anymore. I don't mess with that mess anymore. I was so scared on the Ferris wheel. I've never gotten on another ride since then. True story.
Man.
Because that Ferris wheel, as you got up to the top, it was rickety and all this other stuff. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't know who inspected this.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And if this thing falls down right now, there's nothing that I can do.
You rode in helicopters, haven't you?
Listen. I was in Panama hanging out the side of a Huey. Understand? I'm telling you, I'm not a scary dude. You understand what I'm saying? Have you ever been with the mortar under my back and the M16 in my hand?
Great. But let me ask you this.
I didn't do that.
You telling us about skydiving at one point in time where did they have a waiver or something, or
still do? And that's why I'm highly against skydiving. Also, skydiving, they have you to sign a waiver. So forget all of the warnings that the theme park rides give you. At least they give you those warnings about things like that.
So those warnings, Greg, the ones that are the signs that they put up that you can read.
Yeah.
Is that the condition whereby when you see that sign, you're waiving you're being placed on notice. Okay.
They're letting you know that if you have these conditions, there's a chance you might not make it off this ride. Skydiving, they have you. They tell you all this stuff, and then they say, okay, now sign this. And if anything happens, if you're maimed, if you die, you can't sue, and your family can't sue.
That's a good reason not to jump.
That's even when
that's hard to. Hey, Rod, that's hard to scare people that done rode in helicopters. Because if you ever ride a helicopter wobbles.
Oh yeah.
It's not necessarily smooth. Now the Blackhawks, they smoother, but them Hueys.
Hey Doc, just read the waiver to me while we're on the ground, and it's not gonna be any sense of me riding up in the plane with you.
But no. Let me tell you this right here too. So with skydiving, if you are a student jumper, you cannot jump in winds that are higher than 14 miles per hour. However, if you've never jumped out of a plane a day in your life, and they strap you to an instructor, that instructor can jump into hurricane force winds. Now, that instructor can take that risk thinking that it's okay to do it without ever advising you that these winds are higher than winds that if you were a student jumper, you could not be able to jump in.
Man.
The skydiving industry is the Wild West.
You can't sue. Because
listen, my client can.
Hey, because they got Greg Jackson.
No, that ain't why. Because she never signed the waiver.
Hey,
and
brother Byron say
on the waiver, and the signature that's on the waiver is not her signature.
John Burns.
You compare it against everything else you have. So we're taking them to task.
John Burns. Your IQ has risen 15 points now. Hey, but Greg,
Brother Burns.
You know something? Because we're winding down.
Yeah.
Something that I'm gonna bring us back. I'm gonna skip over a little bit that local folk have seen on the news, and everybody's talking about the Hungerford property right now.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I have some institutional knowledge on this, so I'm going to be very, very strategic about how I talk about this because I do serve as the Community Redevelopment Agency General Counsel for the Town of Beatonville's Community Redevelopment Agency. And so the only thing that I will say about this is that for several years, the Town of Beatonville has been trying to have that property returned back to it. And there appears that there was some form of agreement between the school board and the Town of Beatonville that there was going to be a lease purchase agreement between the town and between the school board. Now, how far they got along in that process, I can't say because I wasn't a part of it. I just know that process was taking place. What appears that has happened is the lease purchase agreement has been abandoned, and now the mayor of Eatonville has indicated that she supports the Dr. Phillips Foundation purchasing the property for $1 million and assisting the town of Eatonville with doing development that's going to help the town in the future. Now, who's right, who's wrong, I don't know. What I do know is that the town council did not or was not fully aware of all of these things that were taking place. And just recently, they have held a special meeting, where they've said that they do not support the town the property that is in the town being sold to the Dr. Phillips Dr. Phillips Foundation for $1 million, and that the town would like the opportunity to purchase the property and to partner with Dr. Phillips Foundation in order to move forward with the redevelopment of the area.
Well, I will say this, that project has been under works for the last maybe 12 to 14 years now.
At least.
And there's been one step forward and two steps backwards in this whole process. The one thing that I will say that we have seen come out of the ground on that property has been host dimes.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long until that's complete, but that's the only thing that we've seen come out of there. And that property, that land has so much potential for the residents of that town. And when I say so much potential, I'm speaking from the property tax that can be generated to help the infrastructure, to help build the infrastructure of that town, and also create more revenue so the town can continue to grow and flourish. But it's just, I don't know, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow.
Well, this is the thing. So Teresa Jacobs, who is the chair of the school board, has indicated that they may table that decision on tomorrow.
I got a question. I'm just asking this question. And one of the things that I heard from somebody that lives over in Eatonville, that their biggest problem is that the churches tend to frown upon other types of businesses coming into the community, and that's one of the reasons that their tax base has suffered. Is that?
So I don't know if the churches frown upon other businesses. I just know that the churches own a lot of land, and the churches, as a nonprofit, does not have to pay taxes, and so yes, the town loses a lot of potential tax revenue because that land is owned by the churches.
And I believe, Greg, and correct me if I'm wrong, but some years ago, there might have been 10 years ago, that there was a moratorium on permitting additional churches because they don't pay taxes on property. And
so listen, if you drive through Eatonville, what you'll notice is that along the main thoroughway of Eatonville are churches.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not churches like on the back streets and things like that. You don't drop right on the main road, Kennedy Boulevard. You have church as soon as you get in. You have church just as you enter when you come down from the east west portion. You have a church as you exit Eatonville. You have one large church that's right there in the middle. Churches dominate the main corridor of Eatonville, and they're not getting a tax.
And what people don't realize too is you have a lot of house churches too.
You do.
And so that's another factor when you talk about not generating property tax revenue. But you know what? Hey, I think Let's Talk Nation is back, baby. We doing what we do.
Well, listen, brother, before we got like a couple of seconds. One of the things I do want to point out is that the first week of October is Mental Health Awareness Week. There's a Mental Health Awareness Month, which is in May, but this is a week that is designated for mental health. Unfortunately, Doc, I was thinking about your wife when I read this story. The former Miss Universe Jamaica, 26 years old, young lady, Miss Tara Spalding, recently committed suicide. She said she had been having suicidal ideation. She didn't know why. No one could really help her. And so this was just my opportunity to say, listen, if you know someone who may be struggling with suicide, particularly during this week, reach out to them, talk to them. The Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. You never know that one discussion to save someone's life.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Hey, Brother Jackson, I appreciate you getting that information out there. Doc, as usual, brother, we love to see you, but we love to see that Huggy Bear hat too.
Yeah, man, why you took out the hat, man?
It got hot.
Hey, but I tell you what, Brother Jackson, it's good that you're back, brother. But I got to tell you this, man.
Yes, sir.
You don't have to go home.
But you got to get out of here.
Until next week on Let's Talk Nation. Hey, Brother Jackson, we'll see you then, man.
All right, man. All right, Doc.